Hi everyone, it's Karen here and welcome back to my channel. I have a new tutorial where I created a canvas for 7 Dot Studio with a lot of metallic paints and waxes from Finnabair. Enjoy! I had it stuck in my head that I wanted to create some kind of metallic look to a canvas, and I took a flat canvas board. I think this is an 8x10, and I just went with it and gathered a lot of embellishments both from 7 Dot Studios and from Prima. The first thing I did is I took a stencil from the Dreamscapes collection and used some Prima Finnabair Graphite texture paste to really give it some texture in the background. I ran it through the stencil using a palette knife on both corners of my canvas. I heat set the paste so it would be dry for the next step. I took some black gesso and basically covered the whole background for my canvas, including the area where I had stenciled. I could have done this later when I had already put all the embellishments, but it's really hard sometimes to get into the nooks and crannies of all the areas, so it's easier to just add the gesso first on the background and then paint the embellishments with it later. So here I am just finishing the whole canvas in black, and you can go back and just once it dries to just get all the little details and the little holes where there's white. Then I took a frame from Prima Marketing. This is a resin frame, and a lot of chipboard embellishments from 7 Dot Studio. These are from many different collections, and I just grabbed a bunch and basically added them to the background. And you'll see that even though I'm adding them this way, when I go and glue them, I actually change the way it looked because I didn't like how it looked. The chipboard pieces that I'm adding now are from the Illumination collection, and these other ones are from the Nature Walk collection from 7 Dot Studio. And these chipboard are perfect because they come matching any collection, and you can mix and match them and basically add texture to any project. And they're very nicely colored. They don't stain because they're white, and they also are thin enough that you can basically add them to anything. To do the technique that I'm doing today, you can use basically any embellishment, whether it's chipboard, resin, plastic, metal, and it will work perfectly. I just cut a little bit of chipboard just to add a little bit of dimension behind my frame so it would raise it up and give it a more of a 3D effect. Now I'm going with my soft matte gel and I'm going to glue everything to the back. And I start gluing things, and then I realized that I wanted to rearrange them, and then I was happier with the results. The reason why I started moving and rearranging them is because I wanted everything to kind of be surrounding the frame and making the frame stand out. I wanted to add a quote inside the frame, and I wanted to everything center around it. So the layout composition was really important, that it would center around the quote and not draw your eye towards the edges of the canvas. That's why I went around and I made everything move towards the actual center instead of moving away from it. This is a helpful tip when you're dealing with layout composition. If you really want to focus something in the center, it's a good idea to just basically make everything draw the eye towards the center by surrounding things in the middle. And that way you can really get the center to stand out. I took a small thin brush and just basically used it to just clean up the areas where the gel was, to make sure that the gel will not stick out in between the embellishments and everything is smooth. Even though the gel dries completely clear, it could create these little bumps around the embellishments if I don't clean this out. I also added these clear round embellishments from Prima Marketing from Finnabair to add a little bit more texture to the background. Now it was time to cover everything again with black gesso to just get it all covered up so I can add the metallic paint afterwards. To get a full coverage, I usually turn the canvas around to make sure that I got all the nooks and crannies. I do go with a smaller paintbrush after and just get into the little areas where there is white left over. Once my gesso was fully dry, I took two of my favorite colors from Finnabair Metallic Acrylic paints, which is the emerald green and the green olive, and I started painting the background. I basically combined the two colors. I love how these two combine together as they're most beautiful colors, or I guess they're my favorite, and that's why I love them so much. As you can see, I'm adding here the green olive one, and that emerald green is just gorgeous. And when they come together, because that emerald green has a little bit of green in it, it just gives it a really beautiful effect, and it brings all those embellishments out into the surface. Once the acrylic paint was dry, I wanted to use the Prima Marketing Finnabair Art Alchemy wax to actually highlight all the texture in the background. I used the white gold color to just add it on all the different embellishments, and it really brought all the embellishments out into the surface. I really love this color as it looks amazing with this green and the emerald blue that you see in the background. And the nice thing is that that beautiful blue-green color stays in the back while the white gold basically brings everything to the surface. First I used it with my finger, and then to get into the nooks and crannies in between the embellishments, I used a small paintbrush and basically dry brushed it also in the background. Once I was done adding the white gold, I felt like I needed to bring a little bit of the bluish tinge into my work. And what I did is I took the Antique Brilliance turquoise color from the same Prima Marketing Art Alchemy waxes, and just basically using my finger, I added a little bit of blue, turquoise blue, in different areas to just highlight some of those embellishments and make them look antique. Originally, I wanted to put a single paper quote inside the frame. However, I realized that it didn't look so good, so I ended up taking a small Prima Marketing resin frame. This is an old one that maybe is not available anymore, but any frame would work. And I needed it to match the rest of the project, so I covered it in black gesso first, dried that up, and then did the exact same thing with the other paints that I had used. I painted the frame in both the emerald green and the green olive just to make it match the rest of the canvas. Then I took the white gold and basically highlighted the little designs on the frame and then put it in the middle. I took 2 pieces from the 7 Dot Studio Verano Azul 6x6 paper pad, and one I cut into an oval to put in the background, and the other one I used as a quote to put in between the smaller frame. I used some soft matte gel medium to glue the papers to the background first and sealed it with the same gel just to make sure that it doesn't get ruined if I put anything on it. Then I used some 3D foam tape to just raise the little quote a bit higher so it would be closer and more 3D like, and then use some glue to basically glue it on top. Then after I sealed it with the same gel, I took the frame and glued that frame on top. I really love how antique looking this canvas came out. The embellishment from 7 Dot Studio combined with the paints and the wax really made it look antique, and it was just really nice to see how to create this that way. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked my video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends on social media. For more inspiration, visit me on my website and subscribe to my channel. Bye!